Okay, so what makes something really valuable? Is it, the money? Or is it something deeper, like the memories worn into it?
Yeah, that's the big question Alice Walker tackles in her story, Everyday Use. It's a fantastic piece and really lets us look closely at that idea.
Exactly, and we're diving deep into it today.
Hmm.
The sources we've looked at really place this story, well, smack in the middle of the 1960s Black Pride movement.
Right. A time when many African Americans were actively redefining their identity,
Mhm.
adopting African names, clothing, hairstyles, trying to reconnect with a heritage.
And Walker uses this family conflict to explore that. It's all about defining identity, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just a family spat, it gets at the heart of what heritage means.
So our mission here is to unpack this tension, the whole use versus display thing that plays out between three women. We've got Mama who's telling the story,
Hmm.
and her two daughters, Dee and Maggie. They have completely different ideas about their family history and these specific objects.
It's a clash of values, really. And the battleground, family heirlooms, quilts, a butter churn, everyday things.
Let's start with Mama. She's our narrator. How do the sources describe her?
Well, she's presented as incredibly strong, very practical. Walker describes her as a large, big-boned woman with rough, man-working hands.
Yeah, I remember that line. She says she can kill and clean a hog as mercilessly as a man. Not exactly delicate.
Not at all, worked outside all day. And she mentions she stopped school after second grade way back in 1927. So very rooted in manual labor and experience, not formal education.
And that practicality really extends to how she sees her home, doesn't it? The yard.
Oh, yeah, the yard. She says the swept dirt yard is more comfortable than most people know, calls it like an extended living room. It's about function, comfort, what works for her life.
But then there's this dream she has. It seems totally out of character.
It really does. The sources point this out as a key contradiction. She imagines this TV reunion with Dee.
Right. And in the dream, she's the one who's different, like 100 pounds lighter, witty, sophisticated.
And Dee pins an orchid on her. An orchid, which Mama remembers Dee once calling tacky.
So the dream isn't her reality at all. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's reflecting the pressure Dee puts on her, maybe. This idea that Mama's life isn't quite, I don't know, good enough by Dee's standards.
That's a great way to put it. It shows this internal tension between her lived reality and the sort of external validation Dee represents.
Okay, so what about the sisters, Maggie and Dee? They seem like night and day.
Completely. They embody those opposing values we talked about. Maggie is, well, she's described as shy, homely, and ashamed.
And the burn scars from the house fire.
Exactly. Scars down her arms and legs. Mama says she walks with a shuffle, almost like a lame animal, just heartbreaking. And she looks at Dee with envy and awe.
Sees herself as not bright.
Yeah. Whereas Dee is presented as this force of nature, educated the family, scraped together money to send her to Augusta.
Lighter skinned, fuller figure, very determined, has her own style.
But there's a sharpness to her, too. The sources highlight this edge. Mama remembers Dee reading to them as children without pity.
Oh, right. Forcing words, lies, other folks' habits, whole lives upon us. Like her education became a weapon almost.
It seems that way sometimes in the story, like it separated her from them rather than, helping her connect or understand them better.
So when Dee arrives back home, it's a performance, isn't
Thank you
it?
for theater. Pulls up with Hakima Barber, this short, stocky guy,
Yeah.
and Dee herself. The dress is loud yellows and oranges that hurt Mama's eyes.
And her hair. Mama's description is amazing. Stands straight up like the wool on a sheep, with braids like small lizards.
That farm animal imagery, it really emphasizes how alien Dee's new look seems to Mama. Is it beautiful or just strange, different?
It definitely signals a disconnect, and then bam, the name changed.
The first big declaration, Dee is no more. She's Wangaro Liwanika Kamanjo now.
Why? She says she couldn't bear being named Dee anymore. Named after.
People who oppress me, that's her reason.
But Mama pushes back immediately. That's crucial.
Yes. Mama says, you know as well as me you was named after your Aunt Dicey. And she traces that name back, Dee after Dicey, back to Grandma Dee.
So the context here suggests Dee isn't rejecting oppressors necessarily. Maybe she's rejecting her own family history.
No.
The one she sees as humble, maybe something to escape.
It certainly reads that way. It seems less about accurate history and more about crafting this new identity, separating herself from her immediate past.
And the awkwardness continues, right, with the food.
Oh, yeah. The tension is palpable. First, Maggie just goes, when she sees them. Like a gut reaction.
Can't blame her.
And then Hakima Barber, Dee's companion, Wangaro, He refuses the pork and collards, says it's against his
The
principles.
D digs right in.
Huangaro eats everything.
Yeah.
Chitlins, cornbread, sweet potatoes, talking nonstop.
Wait a minute. So she adopts this African name and look, but her partner rejects the traditional Southern food while she eats it all. Isn't that kind of hypocritical?
It screams contradiction, doesn't it? The source material really highlights this. It suggests her adopted identity might be more about the look, the performance, than about deeply embracing a different way of life.
She wants the aesthetic, maybe the intellectual distance it provides.
Exactly. The display. But when it comes to comfort, to the visceral things like food, she defaults right back to her upbringing. It shows a real split in this new identity she's trying on.
Okay, so the name change is one thing, but then she starts acting like she's in a museum, right? Treating her own home like an archaeological dig.
That's the perfect way to put it. Artifact hunting. She immediately pulls out a Polaroid camera.
Taking pictures of everything. Mama, Maggie, the house, even the cow.
And making sure the house is in every shot. It's like she's documenting this quaint, rustic life from the outside, not participating in it. Her focus shifts to objects.
Like the butter dish. Grandma D's butter dish.
Yep, wants that. And then the churn top and the dasher. She immediately recognizes their history, whittled by Uncle Buddy and Stash, Aunt Dee's husband.
She has the knowledge, the history, but what does she want to do with them? That's the key.
Display. Purely display. She says the churn top will be a centerpiece for the alcove table and the dasher. She'll find something artistic to do with it.
Artistic, not functional. Its value is entirely aesthetic external.
Yeah.
But Mama sees something else, doesn't she?
Yeah.
In the dasher handle.
She sees the use, the lived history. Mama points out the sink marks in the wood.
Where hands held it.
Generations of hands pushing the dasher up and down to make butter. Those marks, those little scars from work, that's the value for Mama. It's proof of connection, of life lived. The total opposite of a static centerpiece.
Which brings us right to the quilts. The main event, really. They aren't just blankets.
Oh, they're history books. Woven history. Dee finds 2 special ones in the trunk.
And the details are incredible. Scraps from Grandma Dee's dresses, 50 years old. Grandpa Gerald's paisley shirts.
And that tiny piece of blue from Great-Grandpa Ezra's Civil War uniform. Just amazing detail.
Dee, the expert, she appreciates the craftsmanship, right? The hand-stitching.
Yes, she specifically dismisses the other quilts because they were stitched by machine around the edges. Only the hand-stitched ones are priceless in her eyes.
Priceless. And her plan for them.
Hang them. Like tapestries, museum pieces.
But Mama has other plans. She's already promised them to someone else.
To Maggie. For when she marries John Thomas.
For everyday use. To keep warm. Their intended purpose. And that's where it all boils over.
Dee is furious. Absolutely livid. She says, Maggie can't appreciate these quilts. And then the killer line.
She'd probably be backward enough to put them to everyday use.
That's it. That line lays bare the entire conflict. Heritage as preserved artifact versus heritage as lived experience.
And Mama's response just nails it.
She says, I reckon she would. God knows I've been saving them for long enough with nobody using them. I hope she will. It's this powerful affirmation of use value.
But there's that crucial bit of backstory Mama remembers. We can't forget this part.
Right. Mama offered Dee a quilt years ago when she left for college.
And what did Dee say then?
Rejected it. Called it old-fashioned, out of style.
So the quilt only becomes valuable to Dee now when it fits her new, curated, perhaps more intellectual idea of heritage. When it has distance.
Exactly. It needs that cultural capital, that removal from the everyday function, for Dee to see its worth. Her appreciation is external, curated. Maggie's is embodied. She knows the history because she lives it.
And Maggie, true to form, tries to smooth things over.
Yeah, poor Maggie. Used to never winning anything, Mama says. She just offers them up, shuffles in and says,
She can have them, Mama. I can remember Grandma Dee without the quilts.
Wow. That line gets me every time. She understands the memory isn't in the object alone, it's inside her.
And that selfless act, that understanding, it triggers something huge in Mama.
It's like a spiritual awakening. The sources quote Mama describing it. Something hit me in the top of my head and ran down to the soles of my feet, just like when I'm in church and the Spirit of God touches me.
It's a moment of absolute clarity. She finally sees who truly understands heritage.
And she acts, for maybe the first time against Dee's forcefulness. She hugs Maggie, snatches the quilts right out of Wangaro's hand.
She dumps them in Maggie's lap. Done.
A powerful, decisive moment. Wangaro is stunned, defeated.
But she gets the last word. Sort of.
as she's leaving.
Our parting shot. You just don't understand. Your heritage. Just complete dismissal. And then she tells Maggie.
You ought to try to make something of yourself too, Maggie. It's really a new day for us. Condescending right to the end.
But interestingly, the sources bring in Alice Walker's own perspective, which really backs up Mama's choice. Walker talked about quilting herself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in an interview, she mentioned making a quilt called In Love and Trouble. She used pieces of dresses she wore during civil rights activism, fabric from Uganda, even a piece from a dress she wore while pregnant.
So for Walker herself, quilts were records of lived experience, dynamic things.
Exactly. And she specifically said she used her quilt a lot, adding, and that's why it's so worn. She embraced the wear and tear as part of its value. Okay, so let's try and synthesize this for you listening. We basically have two definitions of heritage on the table here.
Yeah, Dee's version is static. It's about preservation, display. Think museum artifact. Priceless, untouchable.
While Mama and Maggie's version is dynamic, it's lived, it's used, it's part of daily life. Its value comes from being used, even worn out. The connection is active.
And the story suggests the real authority, the real ownership of that heritage belongs to the people who are still living it, still making it.
Mama makes a choice about the quilts, a really powerful one. But that larger conflict, Dee driving away, believing her family just doesn't understand, that part doesn't feel resolved, does it?
Not at all. That tension between the educated, perhaps more outward-looking perspective Dee represents and the rooted, functional life of Mama and Maggie. That clash remains. Dee leaves, but the fundamental difference in worldview is still there.
So here's something to chew on, maybe, after this deep dive. When knowledge or ambition, like Dee's, pulls someone away from their family's way of life, who really gets to define that family's heritage?
Is it the person who wants to preserve the object perfectly, frame it on the wall?
Or is it the person, like Maggie, who might wear it out, but still knows how to make another one, who carries the skill and the memory inside, who holds the true claim?
Yeah, the preserver or the creator, that's a tough one. Something to think about next time you look at an old family object, maybe notice the sink marks more than the shine.